partner, my sister, my friend, Desiree Cruz, the other half of Warrior Women BALM Global. We are here with an amazing special episode with some amazing firehouse, oh my goodness, just powerhouse women that are ready to hit the stage August 9th in Canandaigua, New York. And we are excited. How are you feeling, love?
I just, every single time I see that video, I have to just look at it and I think to myself, so many beautiful things, but the biggest thing that I saw again was legacy. It was the biggest thing that I saw again. There's so many amazing women, and we have live footage of them stepping on stage and using their voice and standing in their power. And I don't know about you, Nick, but I am so excited to see this happen again, times two.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, I am. We just had our call yesterday, just really getting the agenda together, knocking that off our list, and just knowing and seeing what the impact is going to be. And it's definitely going to be multiplied from what you've seen in that video. And I too get goosies all the time. I get emotional because it was something that we were able to put together in less than 3 months with the blessing of God on our calling, that it really truly was. I mean, don't get me wrong, bumps and bruises come with everything, but the connection and the collaboration that we were able to do was smoother than I could have ever asked for. So I just want to thank you again for calling me on this journey with you and your vision and your mission, and for God, you know, planting that seed in me to just be that women empowerment coach, leader, and really being able for us not only to create these platforms for ourselves and our family, but all of the women that we have touched in our communities, in our books, and at the Warrior Women BALM Global Conference too, baby.
Canandaigua, New York, let's go.
Yes, and let me just tell you that 2026 is already in motion. So I am even excited about that. Tell you more about it later, but we have our amazing keynotes. Let's talk about really quick before we bring them on, because this is our second round, right? Looking for keynotes that's really going to bring this vision to life. We've decided to create another theme. You know, first annual one was heart-centered leadership. We broke down heart, and now we're breaking down the word woman, because this is what it's about. Let's talk about that a little bit and what we're able to put together and how this one is so purposeful moving into the second annual one.
Well, yeah, I think so. Most definitely, our keynotes are divinely picked. They're divinely picked. It was I don't know if you remember our first call about who we were choosing.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say that I feel 150%, 100% complete on who we picked, what they're going to represent when they get on stage, what they represent when they're off the stage, and really, really encompassing the full heart-centered leadership, but also embracing this new women theme, right? So when I think about each acronym and each letter, I see their faces connected to it. And so I want to say that this was a very simple, very divine, very easy flowing, just really, really, I feel like we attract these women, but it's not on accident, right? I think you and I can both agree that you and I have spent a lot of time and a lot of investing, and you and I making sure we're getting in the rooms, making sure we're meeting these women from around the world. Do you know how many times I've been asked in the last 30 days, how have I met all these women out all over the world? And I thought to myself, oh wow, yeah, this isn't like a normal thing for everybody. They don't have friends all over the world. They don't have sisters all over the world, but you and I do. And this has not been on accident. And so I want to say that, you know, to me, Nick, a lot of the reason why I think this has been so organically placed and so divinely placed with you and I is because you and I understand this, and you and I have really leaned into this calling of really intentionally getting to meet women and seeing what they're doing. And I want to tell you, these keynotes that are about to step on the stage, they represent every single one of these letters for worth, for owning their story, for moving in ways that, you know, only God provides for us, period. Empowerment, and getting to the next level. I literally see their faces connected to each of these things. And I know that this is going to really have the world see these ladies, see their stories, see their impact. And not only that, but see God and how he moves in all of this. So it's just been really, I couldn't have asked for a better panel.
I agree. And we'll talk about some more surprises that are happening during this event. What are some of the historical things that we're checking off the list in this area, and why this one is just that extra special as we keep growing and keep doing this. But I'm going to bring our first speaker up. She was actually a keynote at the first Warrior Women, and she's like, I have to do this again. I'm going to get on this stage. Her story is so powerful, and she's doing such amazing things. And we are just blessed to have her in our space, to have her as one of our sisters, and being able to lift her up and support what she does, as we do all of our speakers. She is Krista Fee, and we're going to bring her up. There she goes. Hey, beautiful. How are you doing?
Hello, my beautiful friends.
Oh, we're so blessed to have you. You represent many things for us. And I just want to say personally, for Krista and her mission in general, the more I get to meet first responders, and the more I get to hear more about her story personally, and the more that I see the moves that she's making in big ways with big systems that need help in the worst way possible. I was just reminded of Krista Fee again today. Just again today, I have another person that I want to connect her with, because what she's doing matters, and what she's doing is beautiful. And to be able to put it with her story, with what she's doing, she represents really stepping into boldness, really stepping into authenticity, and really knowing your worth, and owning your story. I think Battle to Be is just one of the most beautiful things, and I know the need of it is getting much more apparent in my life.
I love that. I think it's really interesting that you say that, because so many people don't think about first responders until it's in their face, until they're married to one, or they're dating one, or they're in a situation where somebody comes and rescues them from something. And then they're like, oh, wait, these are people too. They exist. We might need to think about them sometimes.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about what that is, and why you decided to say yes to come back to Warrior Women 2. What was your experience last year? And yeah, we'll go from there.
I don't do a lot of women's conferences, believe it or not. I actually prefer to do a lot more in the education realm and systemic stuff. But I did you guys' first one, and it was such a, I mean, you use the word heart. That's what the focus was. But when you get in a room with people that are actually there for the right reasons, it's not just to sell people stuff. Everybody's there for the right reasons. And it becomes a beautiful sharing, connecting, growing together experience. And that doesn't often happen the first time that something happens, right? It usually takes 3 to 4 years before the identity of an event takes hold. But you guys got it right the first time. And it was such a powerful room. And all of your speakers were like, we all add to each other. There's a singular message, and we're all a piece of that. And it just becomes one big, beautiful picture. And that happened naturally and organically because of the room that you created. So I was like, I'm not missing out on the second year. I want to see your growth. I want to see what this becomes. So, yep, I'm here for the long haul.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you so much. Share your
That's
thoughts on
exactly
that.
what we're looking for too. That's exactly, Nikki and I were just talking about this yesterday. That we
Mhm.
just know, we know because we can feel it. We have that. We can feel that energy from you. We can feel that you really enjoyed it. You really were so thankful. You were so grateful. You were ready to rock and roll. You're ready to take this on full force. You're ready to step into your story. You're ready to organically do some things and shed some of those barriers that were there before and really get it moving and get some eyes on this mission because you really believe in your mission. And you know what, Krista? It shows because I believe you. And so do they. And that's why your story needs to be told. And Nick and I were just saying we need girls that are going to be like, you know what? I see you. I see what you did here, and I'm here for the long run.
We just talked, and I'm getting chills just talking, just like hearing when you said that, because literally that was exactly our conversation yesterday when we were closing up the call. That this is not just, it's truly a movement. And I know that word has been used very, very loosely lately, but we don't take it lightly at all. Like, this is a mission, and we're going to continue to do it until our last breath. So thank you so much, Krista. We have more questions for you as rest of the ladies. I just want to get them on here. And we're going to go to our next keynote. I met her in Florida, heard her story at Jesse and Desiree's Mike story. And she, I'm not sure what's going on with the internet, but we're going to make this work. Just knowing her story, it was just absolutely phenomenal. And yeah, she is here. She just actually launched her book. She is I Am Queens, Tynesha
Yes, she
Reed.
is.
Let's get her up here. Hey, love.
So
Hey, you're on mute. So
the internet lagged a little bit right there. So just to kind of replay right there, because I think there's some storms happening and stuff. She just was talking about where she met you and how she was in the room for that. And yeah, I just want to say, as soon as you got up on that stage and I saw you do what you did, it was very similar to what happened with Krista last year at our Warrior Women BALM Global. When a speaker comes on stage and they do something so magically divine and organically and genuinely so powerful, where it makes you literally stop and like really, like, my entire heart feels every single word you're saying. That's what happened when I heard Krista speak. And then when you came to the Mike Story competition and I saw you get up and do what you did, I said, this girl is going to be touring all over, period. And I really, it's so powerful, what you're doing. And I can't wait for people to see what you're doing.
Tanisha, can you just come off the line? Tell us who you are, where you're tuning in from, and why. What was your yes?
Thank you, ladies. Thank you, queens, for all the love. It's an honor to be on this platform. I am originally from the Bronx, New York, but I reside in Arkansas. And in 2017, I started my brand, my movement called I Am Queen. And it started with a book. All I wanted to do was, well, at first I didn't want to write the book, but God finally convinced me to write the book. And that's all I thought I was supposed to do. God gave me an assignment. He told me to write a book and tell my life story about the things I had overcome that allowed me to find my true worth. And I wrote that book. And God says, you are not done yet. I have more work for you to do. So through that book, my whole movement, the I Am Queen movement, was birthed. And now I have a total of 6 books that I have released.
Wow.
And I have this movement. I'm a motivational speaker, an author, a writing coach, a mom, a wife. God has literally enlarged my territory from simply being obedient and writing that book.
Mm-hmm. How it works, isn't it?
Yep. Just more chills happening right here, because this is, you know, some of us desire this. Some of us are seeking this, right? This feeling of belonging, this feeling of having a true purpose in sharing our story. And a lot of women are just lost in really how to find that way. And what this movement is doing is letting them know that, one, you're not alone. Two, we all have been through some stuff. And now we're here to share how we were able to not just lift ourselves up, but lift the people around us, the people that are going to give us that time, right? That time to really see who we are inside and out, and not just judge us by our cover. They're going to actually open that book and they're going to read that book because of the way we show up. And I feel that this is what this movement is doing. Des, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I just think in general, in so many ways, Tanisha, you represent a lot of courage and strength and hope and inspiration for a lot of women. Because there's a lot of women who have, you know, a lot of different things as well that are very similar to what you were, but then you are the face of what happens when you are obedient and you do step out and you finally take away the shame and move forward with the calling. And I know what it feels like because I am one of those women. And I can tell you there's so much power in that. And she shows up her everywhere she goes. She and that's a common theme between all of us when you actually really start to, when you really start thinking about each of us, is we each are showing up exactly who we are, and we're all so different. But then not only are we all showing up exactly who we are everywhere we go, but then we're embracing all the women around us to say, let's do the same thing and let's do this together, you know? So yeah, it's powerful.
Amazing, amazing. We have one more of our 4 keynotes. We may get our 4th keynote on here, but if she doesn't come on, she is Lori A. Murphy. You have to check her out. I am going to put the website for the Warrior Women BALM Global.com. If you go there now, you can check them out. You could actually click on their faces, their pictures. You could go to their website, see what they're doing. Also, our sponsors. I'm just super excited for this next keynote as well. I just recently met her over the Warrior Women 3 series when I was a guest on a panel. We share the same name. She's also living in my hometown of Chicago. So I'm super excited to get to meet her for the first time, give her a hug, and see her knock it out the park, as she will be closing out our event as well. She is none other than Nikki Green. And if you haven't seen her on our podcast here, go to our videos. Her podcast is there as well. Hey, Nikki, how are you feeling?
What's up, ladies? How are you doing? It's so great to see you all together. And I am so excited. I'm counting down to have us in person. It's going to be great.
It's going to be amazing. I cannot wait. Nikki
Yes.
squared in the house.
There's going to be a lot of Nikki's in the room, by the way. I'm just saying. Desiree, you met Nikki at an event last October. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so she is exactly like what I was saying earlier, where you walk into a space and you just have that energy with someone just organically, and it's not forced, and you have that energy kind of connect, and that's exactly what happened. I was at Martha Raslow's event in Chicago. I was by myself. I'm hosting a workshop in Chicago. I was so excited to be there. I just flew in. I'm by my family. I'm not really sure, like, the event is massive. I'm not really sure what's going on, but here I am hosting this workshop and people are supposed to be coming in, and I was like, Nikki, there's no signs to tell anybody where the workshop is. So I was like, I'm a solution solver. Let's figure this out. So I was like, you start getting people and telling them that I said, I didn't fly in for nobody to come into my workshop room. So I said, you stand out here, you let everybody know to come back here because this is where I'm hosting a workshop and I'm going to go make my own sign.
It was awesome. So she was standing right by the coffee, which was very convenient. So I was like, oh, it's the first thing in the morning. I'm going to need coffee to get through this day so I can, be invigorated. And I didn't know the agenda, so I didn't know who even was speaking. And so this lady was, I'm like, oh, you need help getting people in a room. I can do that. Let me drink my coffee. I'll direct people, get coffee, go over in this room, and it's going to be the best filled room in the whole place. And luckily I live in Chicago, so I knew a lot of familiar faces that were at the event. So I was able to just drag people I knew and threw them in there. And as a speaker too, one of the things you always learn is it's important not to just think about the audience, but to think about the event planners, because those are the people that keep bringing you back in. And so whenever I'm speaking at an event, I'm always behind the scenes, like, hey, we need some more forks or napkins or, whatever's going on. So I was happy to sit in and enjoy Desiree's presentation, and her and I hit it off and spent the rest of the conference together, hanging out and dancing and laughing and introducing her to other people in the room. So it was fun.
It was amazing. And she was totally one of those women that are just there to be a support for other women. I mean, just so very organically, so welcoming. And we need women like you in the worst way. So yeah, it was amazing.
I'm excited to keep expanding my network and to meet you guys. We've had a few calls and we're doing stuff virtually, and this is our first, real chance to hit the stage, but there's so much more to come. And I feel like, after this, we're going to continue to do great things together. So.
Absolutely.
For sure. But tell the audience who you are, what you do, and why did you say yes to this event?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Nikki Green. I'm a life and business resiliency expert. So what I do is I help people move through major life transitions, set really big goals, and go and tackle them. Whether that's, changing things in your job, your career, starting new businesses is really one of my specialties. Or maybe it's something personal. In my other life, I also run marathons, triathlons, and travel all around the world. So pretty much if you want to do something crazy and new, I'm game to help you get there.
I love that. And just tell us about you joining us in New York.
Yeah, it's so exciting. So I've been to New York City many, many times, and I've never been to upstate New York. So for me as a tourist, just loving to travel, I'm very excited to be able to go and explore upstate and, really learn the history of the area as well. And I think there's just going to be so much more to happen there. I was a part of the Warrior Women 3 book, so I'm excited to meet more of those women in person. I was coaching volleyball, so I didn't get to join the launch, but there's so much more to do. So yeah, super excited. And any chance to do in-person events for me is a game changer. Virtual is great. We do what we can, but at the end of the day, like you said, being able to give an embrace and really make it happen changes everything in your relationships with people.
Absolutely. She had that right on the mark, didn't she?
Live
events change everything.
Yes, I think who says it? Raquel Soto. The room rewires you. And I truly believe that. I can't take credit for that one-liner, but when she said it the first time, is that every room rewires you in some way, shape, or form. And the common theme here is that we've met each other in rooms, whether it was a virtual space, a virtual room, or in person. It was always at an event, whether you were referred by, you bumped into each other, became like that instant connection, or you shared a stage with someone. That's kind of what I'm seeing here. And Lori was actually one of our VIP speakers at the first one. So I can't wait till we get her directly interviewed. She has been interviewed in the past here at BALM Global. Again, you can find that episode here. Let's talk about your word. When you were told about this theme that we were going to do on women and you were given your word, kind of just share without giving us too much on what direction you guys are going to go, but what was your instant thought and just some tips on that particular word? We're going to start with you, Krista, since yours is worth.
I was really excited to get that word because it's so multifaceted and it's easy to speak to all women about the amount of lack of self-worth so many of us have, and those those pre-programmed messages that we carry with us throughout our lives that were put into us when we were children, and how so many of us don't know that we're enough. And so many of us think that we're too much. We're not enough of all the right things, and we're too much of all the wrong things. And we just can't find that place where we feel acceptable in our own skin. So I love that. I love being able to speak to that message, but also to be able to take that to the other level of, a lot of my work is in human trafficking and domestic violence and those things that do degrade our worth. And it just has such a deeper meaning for me to be able to restore women in a normal way, and to be able to restore women in a much more Maslow's hierarchy of needs, safety, real world way as well at the same time. So it's the best possible word you could have chosen for me.
Yes.
You said it was divine, ladies. It was, and I think we had the same thing with our keynotes for the first one, like even the order that we kind of put them in. It's never been oh my God, we got to really think about this. Like literally we come into our session, me and Des, and we're on the same page because God is filtering everything. And we're just kind of sending that message to each other, and we're right on point. It's aligned, and boom, it's done. We're on to the next. And how do we really market this and really put this on the map? So I am glad that we know that was your word. I love that.
Immediately. It was immediate. We're like, who's starting and what's the word? Boom, Krista first one. It was like we didn't even the order. It was just so quick and easy. It really was.
Yeah, we're 2 for 2 on that one, Des. 2 for 2. I love it. So thank you so much, Krista, for your response. We have some more coming up. Next round, Des, you're going to ask them questions on kind of what you want them to bring out to this podcast and to the audience listening in. We're going to actually have the link where you can go now and check everything out. But we're going to bring up Tynesha. Same question. Your word is own. Tell me your response when you received your word.
When I received the word own, I was so grateful. Grateful for 2 reasons. Grateful because it was confirmation that I was doing exactly what God set out for me to do, that I was walking in my purpose. Because I am Queen, my brand literally represents the word own. It screams own. So when I got that word, I was grateful, and I was I wasn't shocked because I know what God is capable of, but my mind was blown because when you do what you're supposed to do and you're obedient, things just align. They just work out and they align. And I was I just I can't even describe to you how I felt, but I felt like God had wrapped his arms around me once again and said, "You're on the right track, Tanisha, because you guys chose the perfect word for me." And the fact that you chose that word for me means that you saw that word in me, um, which lets me know that I'm doing exactly what God has called me to do.
Girl, yes, you are. You got a lot of women you're gonna touch too doing it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, just going back to Florida and hearing your story and your journey, you own that. That day, that was like your breakthrough that said, you know what, no more. And you probably had that moment before. But for me, first time watching you hit that stage in that competition was you just bearing it all. And, I think most of the room was really leaning into your story. So I'm so mad, not mad, but sad that I couldn't go to day 2. But it was worth, again, just seeing. I mean, we even picked our MC, which was Carolyn. She was judging that weekend, and having her being part of this movement as well. We knew it instantly. And this is what happens when you get in the room with purpose and intention, and God giving you the right tools to say, hey, like, paying attention to every single nuance that's happening at these events. You don't just go there to get the information, leave, and hope that you're going to do something with it. We make these rooms very intentional so that you can grow, that you can have the confidence to tell your story again. And let me tell you, when I heard you, I'm like, she's owning this story, which was so moving. I cried, obviously. And yeah, this was a perfect word for you again. It was easy when we were putting it in order.
I mean, I am queen. It literally is, you are owning exactly what you stand for. And not only are you owning it, but you're sharing it to the world so that they can own it too, for the women in the world, specifically the young women in the room. I'm really excited to put these young women in front of you, so that you can speak that same thing to them. Because I'm going to tell you, as a retired school system special ed person that was in the school district for 10 years, and that, other than that, but I also have a lot of nieces I'm very close with, and I have teenage girls. And I know that you have a daughter as well. And what I want to tell you is that we need women like Tanisha in the worst way. And the school districts need women like Tanisha in the worst way. And the school districts have to think about putting in programs for speakers like Tanisha to be able to come in and be able to talk to these girls like she did at that Mike Story event, because that's the kind of things that change. That's the kind of things that motivates. That's the kind of things that make people feel connected. And when people are connected truly to their heart and listening to what their heart is saying, that's where the biggest jumps happen. So think about that as far as youth, right? When you put a woman like that in front, they speak to their heart, and all of a sudden now the youth is taking those steps, and that is how it works. So call out to all the school districts if they're looking for someone to speak to their youth. Tanisha is the one. Not the two. She's the one, not the two.
Thank you, Queen.
Love it. Just want to say, oh my God, that's so amazing. Just wanted to say a quick shout out to Latasha. Coach LT is in the YouTube chat. We have Tina Marie, our Chief Heart Officer with BALM Global. They are just loving this. And I know there's some other people, they haven't commented, but share this out. This does not need to stay just for yourself. This needs to be shared to the world, your network, your communities, because these are real women, everyday women creating this impact. We don't have the superstar status, but let me tell you, this is way more better than that. I promise you. And we are going to go. So we have, the acronym within women, we have M as move, and we have strategically, myself and Desiree decided to split this M, and we're actually splitting that acronym for our training sessions at this event. We felt that, we've been moving since day one. Once this became a thing and we said we're running and we're running hard with it, we've been moving again. Just like Desiree said, we have placed ourselves in rooms that maybe we didn't think that we would be in, or that we knew we were going in very intentionally, just to meet other women and just make that connection. It was never about just the event. It was really about making true connection and just seeing, like she said earlier, what everyone's doing. What are we missing? Where are, just like Krista said, in our worth, there's some areas in our life that we feel like, yeah, we're worthy of this, but there's still other areas. It's like, I just had a podcast before this that I pre-recorded, and we come up like Swiss cheese, right? With some of the holes in there, and we need to fill those holes up. And that's what Warrior Women BALM Global does. We're filling up those holes so that we feel purposeful and we are in mission and aligned and sharing our story. So the next word is empower. So me and Desiree are doing Move, and we're really excited about that. Did you want to talk on that, Desiree?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's you and I, we're moving in ways, and we're taking a lot, taking people and showing what collaboration looks like, right? And so modeling with what collaboration looks like. So, moving, and it's great because it's symbolizing moving together. Right. So you and I splitting this workshop is going to be really great because it's going to be both of us in front of the room. And I was just on the phone with someone right before this, and we were talking about the significance of that. And I want to tell you, people don't really understand the significance of seeing two leaders coming together to do something bigger until they haven't seen two leaders coming together to do something bigger. Right. And so it's like, what this symbolizes for women is much greater than you and I. And it's very historic to the area. So just a brief little life lesson of the history of Seneca Falls, which is 20 minutes down the street. This conference specifically in Canandaigua, New York is really historically known, and Seneca Falls is where the women's rights movement began. So there was a group of girls just like us right here on this call who decided that women deserve rights. And they started right in Seneca Falls, New York, which is literally 15 minutes from where we were going to be. And then after I took the Warrior Women and did like a tour of that place to be able to have women understand that we're in the Mecca of this, the Mecca of it, and the responsibility of women empowerment for such a small, not in the middle of a city, right? We're suburb from the city, so it's harder. It's harder for those kinds of events to happen because all these kinds of events are typically in the big cities. So I want to say, because of the location, the need for the empowerment is greater. It's just greater because it's not seen here. And it's definitely not seen like two women leaders coming together and doing it together. Right. So this is really significant because we're very similar to those girls in Seneca Falls that started the whole thing. And one of them actually was trialed in Canandaigua. So right across the street from where we're going to be on the lake is the Canandaigua courthouse. One of them was actually trialed right at that courthouse. So it kind of gives you a little bit of the responsibility piece of this, which as a mother of two teenagers, I'm going to tell you, I feel the responsibility more than ever because when I walk around this little suburb town, I can see the need. And when I did a little survey, I was just randomly, I took my two girls out to lunch. I said, I want to show you. So I did a little survey and I just pulled some girls aside and I said, when was the last time that you've been to a women's empowerment conference? And they looked at me crazy and then said, I've never been to one. And that was 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 has never even been to a women's empowerment conference, which means if you haven't seen it, how do you know how to do it? I mean, some people organically and just intuitively know how to be empowering, but it's harder to be an empowered woman if you've never been around empowered women. And now I just want to say, here we are. And now we get to be the face of that in an area that needs it in the worst way, which is the Finger Lakes, New York. And I'm just so excited about it. Oh, you're on mute, Nick.
This just goes back to this being bigger than Desiree and I, than Warrior Women, than BALM Global, than anything that we're doing. We are serving a purpose here in the biggest way, just like Desiree said. And let me tell you, I am damn proud to be part of that, to be locking arms with all the women that will be in that room, that we are going to capture this and we are going to leave that legacy there. And it's going to be beautiful and it's going to be amazing. And you have to be in the room to feel it. You just have to be in the room to feel it. There's nothing better than being in the room, hearing these stories, and being part of history. It's bigger than that, bigger than us. Trust me when I tell you. So our next speaker is Lori Murphy. She's not on right now. She is going to take over the letter E, which is empower. I feel that she does that very well. I also heard her speak. She is doing amazing things right now. Is probably why she couldn't get on, but we send her love. Definitely go on that website that's scrolling right at the bottom. Click on her name, her face. You will get to know a little bit more about her before you meet her in that room, because I truly believe that this is going to go super far, and we are going to sell out this event. We are claiming every seat will be filled with another woman that's going to be empowered by all these keynotes and everyone else in the room. Did you want to say something, Deb?
Yeah,
Yes.
I wanted to say that Lori is a women empowerment coach. She also is the podcast producer of She Thrives. She does a lot of women empowerment events locally in the area. She's actually infiltrated in Albany, which is the oh man, I hate when hair like sticks to your boss and then it gets stuck while you're speaking. That's like the worst. But
That's real life, baby.
she's in the Albany area, which is the capital of New York. And so yeah, Lori's out doing big things, and she's a part of a lot of different things going on. And she's also journaling and doing entries for journaling for a magazine locally in the area as well. So yeah, she has a lot of amazing things going on, and she's just a girl's girl.
Mhm.
She's just a girl's girl, you know. I'd love to say we don't really, in this space, there really isn't any space for mean girls, right? And then there's the girl's girl, and I'm gonna tell you, Lori's the girl's girl. She just really is. She'll laugh with you, she'll cry with you, she'll hug with you, she'll pray with you, she'll be silly with you, she'll dance with you, she'll surprise you. Like, she's just is one of those women. So I'm honored to have her be a part of this.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. And can't wait to see her and give her a great big hug as well. And then it leads us to our last letter in the acronym of woman, and that's N, which is next level. And Nikki Green is going to talk about that.
That was such a perfect word phrase to like have for me, and I was super excited. This is definitely going to be good, and it's a great way to kind of close out the keynotes. Since quitting my corporate job in 2020, I just thought, I'm going to go be a motivational speaker, in the middle of the pandemic when everything's closed and you can't go to events, but I'm going to build a whole business on it. Sure, why not? And then someone was like, hey, you should write a book. So I wrote 7, and someone was like, hey, you should start a podcast. So I was like, okay, how do you do that? It was like everything that people said, this is what you're supposed to do. I just didn't hesitate, and I stepped into it. But then as I started coaching again and really working with people, I realized that people don't just go do those things, that those things become really big obstacles to being able to get their message heard, to be able to share their story, whether it's just with their friends and family to feel more confident around those people, or whether it is to really take it on a bigger stage like we do. So I'm really excited. I want it to be super interactive because I want people to leave, and I want those women to really feel like I've taken that next step towards that next level. So I'm excited.
Yes. Oh, I love that. I love that she just said that, because that's exactly what we want. Me and Nikki were saying that's exactly what we want. We want people to be able to take away tangible things that they can apply to their own life, so that after they hear you all speak, they have some tangible tools and lessons along with your amazing stories and your faces, to be able to take away, so that that's the whole purpose of it, is to be able to speak into the lives of women that are going to be in the room, so that they're better and more equipped for those things. So I love that you said that, Nick.
I'm excited. And I think even just between us speakers, I think each of us are going to go to the next level as we're there. So appreciate the opportunity to, really come and be a part of the event at this level. So thanks.
Awesome. Yes, this is absolutely amazing. So we do have one of our VIP speakers, Anidra, is in the comments. She said, hey, ladies, you all are serving literally and physically. I love it. Can't wait to see you. What Desiree has really built here with Warrior Women has been absolutely beautiful, and being a part of the first series, also being able to sponsor her and her husband's mission with the Mike Story. And not only that, do life with her, have being able to go on a cruise with her this March, which was my first literally my first break in like 3 years since I started. Because as soon as I got into a room just like this and entered my first speaking competition, it was game on. It was like, if this is what it feels like to be received, just being who you are with your message, why stop? Why stop? So I have not stopped since, starting off with, again, just like Nikki, okay, during the pandemic, write a book, start a podcast, create a community, create virtual events. Just go live after a whole year and do your first big event and launch your business. That is, just all of those things are things that, again, we just dream about. But when you set yourself up and you posture yourself in these rooms and you have these women supporting you and cheering you on, there is no way that you can stop. You're going to keep going because now you're creating impact. Now you're leveling up. Now you have a message. Now you're making a promise to yourself that your voice matters. And that's what this is about. That's what Warrior Women BALM Global is about, and what we have put together here. I am blessed to have. I am honored and humble that God has chosen us to lead this, but also to be able to do it over and over again. I'm just excited. I'm super excited. Des, I'm going to turn the floor over to you. You're going to take this next round and just ask our keynotes a question, and then we will wrap it up with some updates on what to expect. And then we will give you the rest of your Friday back. But this has been absolutely phenomenal. Like, I'm overflowed already.
Yeah, a couple things. I just want to say, same here. I'm just incredibly just so excited to see what happens in this room. And I do know that there's going to be a lot of love and a lot of alignment and a lot of support and a lot of impact that's going to be taken from this. And sometimes I want to tell you, it's sometimes not immediate and sometimes it is immediate, but in rooms like this, you can feel it and you can feel what happens. And I just want to share real quickly, a quick brief comment that was said to me just recently. So, I was at a networking event and I was telling her about this conference, and she was just so impressed because you guys are the faces on the flyer, right? So I was telling them a little bit about each of you guys and what you're representing, and that you're just more than just, business, right? You are my friends, and you're more than my friends. You're like my sisters. Like, I would fly my kids to you because I trust you and I know you're going to pour into my kids with the same values that I have. Right. So this is the difference with this group, right? And I want people to see that, because that is the difference. Like, I was going to go hang out with Nikki in her house in Chicago. I have literally done life with Nikki Cuesta. Me and Christopher have just continually poured into one another, and Tanisha's like my sister from another mister that I would, I'd send my kids and come to their kids' wedding. Like, this is how it is for me. And so I think the more that we show what that looks like, that it is not impossible. You can do business and do it with your sisters. And I want to make sure that we're modeling what that looks like, because it's not just business. I think most importantly, the comment that was made from this was, she said, after I went to a women empowerment event in Rochester, she had gone to a recent one. She said, it literally empowered me so much that I started my company after that. She left and started the company. So there's a ripple effect of what happens after a comment like that. It makes you really think about the impact that happens. And not only that, but I was so happy for her that she got into a room that made her want to take that next step, because there's a lot of women missing that room, right? And now she has a life where she's now doing the company, and with the company has things connected to the company. So now she has a life where she's able to be home more for her kids. She's able to pour in more to her husband, right? So there's a ripple effect that happens greater than what you'll see from the day of. And I'm just so thankful that obviously as hosts that Nikki and I are the ones called to create the space to do this, but then also for all the women in the room, because they get to be in a room where those kinds of things are happening. And for the women of the range of women that are going to be in the room, you never know. You never know where your message is going to hit and how it's going to hit and how hard it's going to hit them. And we may never know. And we may never know really what it does to that area. But it's going to go down in history that we have all been a part of it. And there's going to be pictures of you guys for the rest of your days that you were a speaker, a keynote, a women's empowerment event in Canandaigua, New York that needed it so dearly. So I just want to tell you, I don't take for granted your time this Friday. Women are busy. I know that. And I'm just so thankful that you took the time to say yes and be part of this. Before we go on with the questions, I just wanted to let you all know that I'm thankful. Nikki is thankful. We're so beyond grateful to have you guys to be supporters of this, but then also to come along with you and to see you keep rising, because all of you deserve to be seen. All of you deserve to have abundance in every single area of your lives, and it will come if you stick with it. I know that there's people here. I just got off the phone with someone said that they got on one podcast and they contracted their company to thousands, and she had to figure out how to serve thousands at a time because of the contract that came through from one podcast. One podcast. That's the power of rooms, especially live ones, especially when you're a keynote. The importance of clearly being able to communicate what you're doing is the most critical. I've researched this, and my husband is a geek. He is a geek. He's even a more geek than I am a geek, and I'm a geek. So when you research the top people, do you want to know what they're investing the most in? Speaking. And I check it, because what I'm saying is, I want you to check what I say. The number one people who are making the most difference, they've invested in speaking the most because they understand the importance of it. So I guess my question for you, for each of you, so I'll just ask one question and then you can all answer, is how has saying yes to being on stages and to actually using your voice to be able to make an impact in a way where you're taking a microphone and you're getting up on stage and you're doing what you're called to do, how has it changed you personally and then professionally? And it doesn't need to be crazy, but I do know that there's both of those things that happen when this happens, just so that the people who are a little nervous about getting on stages, or don't think that they're quite ready yet, or haven't had the room to encourage them, just to show kind of those things of what has happened with you personally. So Chris, if you want to go first.
Wow, that's a fun question. I started on stages with your husband at the speakers competition, which he's got coming up soon. Actually, I believe I was talking to him about that the other day. That was my first like real big stage thing, because I want to do the work that I do. And I am a shy person in the background. I want to do the work. I never really wanted to be the face of it. I never wanted to be front and center. I just wanted to make the impact. And I'm a begrudging leader too. Like, I didn't want to lead the charge. I want to do the things in the background and let other people be at the front. And what I've realized over it's only been a year and a half, I think, since that, what I've realized is most of the important leadership happens from the stage. Like, I inspire and motivate from the stage. I ignite the fire in people from the stage. So I can't do that from pushing from behind. We don't get people to move when we're pushing them from behind. We get people to move when we show them how it's done and we make the path easy for them. So I got to be at the front, beating down the weeds and showing them the way. And there's just no passive way to do that. So I have fumbled and struggled with that fear and that shyness, and my voice stuttered, and I like literally my heart would beat out of my chest when I got off stage. Like I thought I was going to have a heart attack, and I couldn't breathe, and I'd start sweating. Like I was fine until afterwards. And then afterwards, when the adrenaline falls out, I was just like, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I don't even know what's happening right now. And it would like last for hours. I wouldn't want to talk to people. I'd just be in this like isolated place where I'm like, that was too much. Now I need to, go back to my shy place where I'm safe and in control. But the confidence and the leadership that has come from, now I speak on stages every other day. I have a podcast. I'm on other people's podcasts. I speak at hospitals. I speak at schools, and I don't even blink. I know my message. I know where I'm going with it. I know what I want to say and what I want to do and what I want to inspire you to do. And now I know how to do that. So now it's exciting and fun, and I can look at the faces in the audience and I can shift gears, knowing, is this resonating with them? Do they need something else? I'm not hitting them. What do I need to do? And it's so much growth, but that translates off the stage too, because I'm not afraid of any room now. I'll walk up to any professional in any organization and tell them exactly what they need from me and why they need it. And they might be governors. They might be like, nobody intimidates me anymore, because I know who I am. I know my value, and I know my message. And that really
talk that talk, girl. Talk that talk. Ah, that was joy. Sorry.
Absolutely. No, that's the room rewiring you. I have to keep saying it. Krista, that was powerful. And I hope that all that are listening and are taking notes, because these are nuggets. These read here between the lines. I'm going to say, because I can't say read between the lines. Here between the lines, write these things down. Even in the comments, what Tony has been just kind of highlighting on some of the words we've been saying, like the power. This is the power of showing up. I can't wait till I answer this question, Desiree. But who do you want to go next?
Tanisha, thank you, Tony, so much for being here and doing what you're doing too. Because, girl, so much love.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready, girl. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am, I'm ready. Okay, so being on stage has changed my life in so many different ways. When I get on stage and I open my mouth and I tell my story, I heal more and more. And me allowing myself to heal has brought so much healing and deliverance to other women that are in the room. So it's not, I don't speak for me. I speak for other women, but through my speaking, I'm able to help other women. And that is my sole purpose, is to help other women in hopes that it could make this world a better place. That's my absolute sole purpose in life, is to make this world a better place. So when I get up there and I open my mouth and I tell my story on those stages, it is therapy for me. And I really enjoy it. And I really feel like this is my calling and I'm right where I need to be. Um, that's all I have to say about that.
Oh, I love it so much. It's so true, though. It really is. I mean, think about it. It's inner work, and then that inner work outpours into the lives of others, and that's really what the full circle is all about. And I just had some heavy news hit today locally in this area, and I was thinking to myself, every time I see something like this happen, I go, man, I feel like the outcome could have been a little bit different if there was some people like my crew who was a part of that person's life. And as heavy as that is, it's critical that we understand that. And it's so true, because you are providing that, and they are being encouraged to heal and to continue to heal, and that to make healing cool again, right? That's the thing about this, is like, let's start celebrating healing and healed, and the journey of that and make that cool again, because it's so important, because those things explode into every area of our lives and our communities and our systems. So yeah, I feel you 100% in what you just said, because personally I can testify to that same testimony. But I just hope that the world receives that the same as you and I do, because the more you intake this kind of message, the less of really heavy things in your community, um, because it's hard for your mind to think so terribly when you're surrounded by encouragement and empowerment and support and authenticity and meeting people right where they are and being empathetic and being leaders and showing them grace and showing them space, but showing them how to move and how to be healthy rather than doing all these things in a healthy way. I think there would be so much less of the really heavy, terrible things that do happen in communities, unfortunately, like there was tonight. So, yeah, thank you so much, Tanisha. Say that loud for the people in the back.
Mhm. Love it.
All right, Nikki Green, you're up. Last but not least.
Yeah, I love to really talk about my transformation as a speaker so that people can relate, because, a lot of times I'm a very extroverty extrovert. So when people see me, like, oh, you just must love being up there and you must love the attention. And, and everybody has their own idea of like what that stress and how to deal with it. And I spoke on stage for a long time before in my corporate career, but I was talking about finance and accounting stuff. That's very boring things. No one wanted me to talk about that anymore. So I really had to start changing what I was talking about. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I have cool, very important transformational stories from my life. These can help other people. And alone in the pandemic, sitting in my basement with my phone, trying to record myself, I was crying. I'm crying. There's no audience except my cat. Like, why can't I do this in the same way without even an audience? I've got to get better at this so I can tell these stories in an impactful way, but letting people really see me, like not just the numbers on the screen and talking about, something else, something I have done for work or something separate from myself, but really talking about me. And telling some of the stories from my first book. People were like, I've known you, 15, 20 years, and I didn't know any of that stuff about you.
Right.
That's where you really start making those connections, is when you can break down your own barriers on stage. And sometimes you break down. I've done it still too. I've given a talk and it was so deep and meaningful, and I could see the audience moving along, that sometimes you cry on stage because you're giving everything you have to really bring them through that transformation too, not just tell them a story about something that happened some time ago. So I love that about speaking. And it's definitely made me a better speaker to be able to talk about anything. I still sometimes talk about finance and accounting, and sometimes I make it funny. We go through more serious topics. So it gives me a good range and allows me to help more people. So for me, I'm really thankful to be in this business and to meet amazing people like all of you. So
I love that she said that, because she said a couple things about speaking in general, where she was able to take some serious things and turn it into a little bit where it's funny a little bit, but then also like switch up if she knows she's got to switch up a little bit about what she's talking about and doing, and being able to also be able to be effective where it is so emotional, because you are so in your heart, where you do have emotions. And I know that Nikki Questa and I both can relate to that. And the difference of that, where you're emotional versus breaking down, right? That's completely different, right? And I love that you said that, because it's true and it's authentic and it's the best speaking. It is, when you're able to put a little bit of humor and a little bit of seriousness and a little bit of, and all of those things with the mix of the authenticity of your story, and people can feel it. People can feel your words. That's how public speaking works. So, I love that you pointed those things out, because that is exactly the best, most effective way with speaking, is when you're able to merge kind of those things together worldwide. Hey, 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 hey. See, I just did that.
Global too. I love it. Yes. Oh
All right,
my
Nick,
God.
I know you're not, Nick, you're not last, or you're not least, even though you're last.
Oh, no worries. But I want you to answer the question too, because we've been on these stages, and that's why I wanted to answer it. So for me, being in corporate, kind of the same. When Nikki was on my podcast, I learned so many common things that we've had, right? Working in corporate, being a corporate trainer, speaking to people about systems, how to put pre-certs in, change doctors, order ID cards, right? The simplest stuff that you can do in a healthcare. That was easy. People I knew. But what I did find, even in that setting, when processes were put in place at 9 a.m. and changed at like 2, and now I have to retrain, and people were just getting frustrated and thinking that they weren't good enough to get it or understand it that fast, and not being able to nurture that and really build their mindset that yes, you can. Let's just take some time. Let's get it done. From doing that and getting that love for pouring into people and showing them that they can and finding ways to do it. It also led me to saying, okay, if I want to, I joined network marketing to hit rank, to pour into people. I building a leadership mindset in 2020, and it stood there for 2 years collecting dust because I was looking for perfectionism. I didn't know, I knew what I wanted to say, but I never prepped myself to say it. So I didn't have the tools of what I have today. 2 years later is when I got into this space. And let me tell you, to hit the stage, you know, I've paid from $350 all the way to $2,500 for 7 minutes to be on a stage because I knew that my story was worth that and more to be able to do what I'm doing today. So the investment was worth it. Every single penny. I never felt like I did because it didn't matter if I got what they promised me in these events. It's how I went in and how I pulled the information I needed and used the tools, whether it was the videos, whether it was the testimonies, whether it was the vending that I did in selling my book. And that's what we show you, right? It's not just about speaking, it's about everything that comes with speaking later, all the connections, all the opportunities, which hence why I want to build stages all over the world. You know, with this tour, with Desiree, with Warrior Women, like we are not stopping until the last breath. And this is what speaking does for me. And every dollar that I've spent on it has been worth it. So I just wanted to say that, like, it's never too much or too little. Get started, get your social proof, get the experience, and get in these rooms. Get in these rooms and get those keynote opportunities and get those 15 minutes over 5. Literally, I paid $2,500 for 7 minutes, and those 7 minutes allowed me to have 3 members in my community that I can serve now, that we're rocking together now. So that's just a little bit of what it did for me professionally and personally. It just gave me the courage to keep going. So I just wanted to share that.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. And I love that. I love it. You hit on so many things with that. Not to mention, if you haven't gotten a hold of Nikki and her community, please do. This lady is leading in a way that is so amazing. And if you haven't stepped into her space, do so, because there's a lot of really great women. And she's building and she's just getting started. And you want to be a part of those kinds of communities because it does lead to so many other things. And not to mention, you grow all the way along the way. So yeah, she's my sister and she's my partner, but she's also an incredible leader. So with that, for me, I want to tell you, I've met some incredible people. And so in these rooms, I've found the community that I was missing. And I have women all over the world now that I can send my kids to, that can teach my kids things that I can't. And that's big for me. That's legacy building for me. Like my daughter's graduating in, well, my daughter just graduated. We're hosting a graduation party for her in July, which is why we're not going to Italy this year. Like, because I would have already called Kristen, she would be coming with me again. But so we're not doing international things right now because we're going to do the graduation. But do you know my daughter asked for certain women to be invited from these communities. She said, Mom, she goes, Mom, call your warrior business people. That's what she said to me. Because I do want them to come, she said. My kid asked me that. And so I want to tell you what that means. What that means is that what I was hoping was going to be the biggest piece of this has been accomplished, where women are speaking into my kids' lives. They feel safe and secure with you. You've shown them something, right? Where they have seen you, they've met you, you've been a part of whatever, right? Krista went to Italy with us and Greece and all this stuff. And so they get to hang out with these people while they're around, and they get to kind of feel the energy. They get to feel the alignment or the vibes and the values and all the things. And it's legacy building, because now these women can speak into my kids' lives. So this is it's much bigger than just business for me. And I feel so incredibly honored that I have that. Because just imagine as a young woman, your mom can send you to any state basically in the country and multiple countries to safe, respectful, honorable, doing things leaders that are women. Like, it's crazy. Another way that this just worked just 5 seconds ago, my last call today, I was on the phone and I'm talking about how there's been quite a transition in my family with my daughter graduating. And kind of like the wave of what happens when this happens in a family, when the first one goes off to college, and for a mom like me, I'm really close with my daughter, and kind of the wave of highs and lows that I've been dealing with for the past 2 months. And I'm on the phone with her, and she's like, "Oh yeah, where's she going?" I said, "She's going to MCC, which is 45 minutes down the road from me." And she goes, "Oh, that's funny. Guess what I teach?" And I was like, "What's that?" And she goes, "I'm a professor at MCC and I teach public communications." So she's like, "Haley and I are going to have many conversations." And again, just like that, now I've met a professor at the college she's going to, and the lady literally teaches how to speak. And guess what class my daughter's a part of? My daughter's in public communications the next semester. So she's going to take her in, and she's going to have a lot of mentoring kind of conversations with her. It's and just like that, when things like this happen, right, I can't make this stuff up. So anyways, personally and professionally, it's changed me in every way. I went from being an event planner in the background, never wanting to be on a microphone. I was the event planner. I was just so inspired by my husband, and I allowed him to lead. And I was just so thankful that I married someone that I can look up to and see, look at what a wonderful leader he is. But then as I became growing, right? And so that's why I love Warrior Women BALM Global, because it's a space where you can do your first time on the microphone, or you can be like Nikki Green, and this is like 300 stages for you, right? So it's a range of speakers where we're not judging and we're not comparing and we're not competing, right? This is a space where you can start and excel. This is a place where you are not judged and you're thriving. So I think that it's changed me in every way. I mean, I've gone through so many different things personally and professionally that I had to face to be able to get out of my comfort zone, to be able to get on things like this more and develop myself as a speaker. Because, before I was just Jesse Cruz's wife who hosted events, and that's the truth. I had to pivot, make something on my own, convince the world that I was worthy enough to do so and do it well. And then I had to take the microphone and step out of my own way and stop listening to all the noise and do what I was called to do. And when you do that, it's unstoppable. And then you do it with like times, 17 speakers, and it's like a fist.
Oh my goodness. Amazing. We have just touched the surface of what August 9th, 2025 in Canandaigua, New York is going to look like, feel like, and you're only going to know if you get in this room. We still have some limited seats available. Definitely connect with our keynotes. Get to know them before you get in the room. Get to understand what this mission really is. And if you don't know, don't guess, don't ask yourself. If you have that nudge, just lock in your spot, join us, and then have something to analyze, to relate. Trust me, you are not going to you're not going to regret it. You're not going to regret it. I will get in every women empowerment room that I'm invited to, whether it's to speak, whether it's just to just attend. And I've been that, right? Even though we're hosting many events all year round, whether virtual or live, excuse me, I love to be that where I don't have to go lift a finger and I can just get
Yes.
poured into. I will do that all day, every day. All day, every day.
Yeah, because I think always wanting to learn is a big, huge piece of being a leader. And that means that you're always you're a student as well. Even though, so like I think that makes a big, huge difference with you and I, Nick, is like you and I were taking notes right along with, like, when you guys are speaking. If I'm not busy running the event with Nikki, I'm taking notes on what you're saying, because I'm a student just as long as everybody else is. I don't ever think that I'm higher than anybody. I'm just in a collaboration where we're able to provide this platform, right? So that's a separate calling. But yeah, I agree. It's about wanting to continue to learn, and then that's why we pick you guys, so that you guys are the faces of the ones to be able to teach those things.
Absolutely. And you've said collaboration a lot, and I have to put this out there. Desiree is actually speaking at our next online business mindset mania, June 21st, Saturday, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And that her topic is collaboration over competition. And we strategically picked our speakers this time. Usually we have our ladies kind of tag themselves in. Okay, I'm ready, I'm available. But this time we made it very strategic, where we had specific topics leading into all of our initiatives moving forward. You know, budgeting like a boss, building your brand like a boss, idea to income, and of course, collaboration over competition, because we are truly the walking testimony when it comes to this, and how women could do it and do it very well. And what I loved about Warrior Women 1 is that that's exactly what happened in that room. We've seen so many connections and things come out of that room. Weeks later, months later, the day after, like we had, I think, was it Lori that launched her book with Latasha in like 5 days from that event? It was just so beautiful to see and watch. And that's what these rooms bring. It brings true, authentic, heart-centered leaders ready, whether we're coming exactly from where they're at and just flourishing into things that we didn't even think about, that they didn't even think about themselves. So we're going to kickstart that topic this June 21st. So you can definitely DM me. Tony will probably put the link. It's a Zoom event. It is complimentary. We do this 8 times a year. And we would love to have you and listen to Desiree along with the other speakers, and continue to stay connected with us. Keep following our pages. There's more to come on what's happening that weekend. And I'm super excited for all of it. I'm going to ask Siri in a minute how many days until August 9th.
It's on our flyer. It's counting down right now.
It's 57 days until then.
57 days. Did you hear that? 57 days. All right.
57. It's coming quick. So invite your friends, tell your people. If you know a woman in the area that needs to have some empowerment in her life, or someone who's just eager to learn, or someone starting up a business that needs to take it to a next level, expanding your network, not to mention it's a beautiful location as a family-friendly summer vacation lake. If you're trying to come to upstate New York and check us out, Nikki Green, I can't wait for you to see the sliver of paradise that we have here. I mean, it is such a beautiful area. So I'm excited for you guys to come see where I'm from, and how we do it around here. And I'm really excited for Canandaigua to embrace us. and to have us come in. And Canandaigua has been really good to us so far. And I went along and put up a bunch of flyers, talked to a lot of people in the area, and they're excited. They're excited for you guys to come along. They're excited for this. They're receiving it very well. I didn't know how they were going to receive it. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens from this and see you guys soar. And again, Nikki, I'm excited to this is her and I have been working very hard on this. This isn't something that, we did it in 3 months last time, which was literally unrealistic. This is something that usually takes, a minimum of a year of working on. So we've had, her and I, we are really dedicated to doing this on a weekly basis. Her and I going over how this is going to work. Live events are very expensive and they're very tedious and it takes a lot of work. But her and I are confident in our capabilities, and no matter what happens on that day, the women in the room are going to make up for whatever noise or arrows come our way, because God knows that there's going to be plenty. So I hope everybody's really enjoyed themselves on this Friday night. I can't wait to celebrate Father's Day this weekend, because this is a very special Father's Day for me. And Warrior Women BALM Global is actually going to be on the same day that my dad passed away. It's the same exact date. So I almost feel like the first one was on my daughter's prom last year, and now this one's going to be on the same day that my dad passed away. And I almost feel like it's like this empowering, like spear that's like going through me that like is like, it's making me really step into what we've created here. And I just can't wait to see who comes in, to see what we've done, and to see what these girls do. And I know that it's going to just tidal wave full of just greatness and good things. So yeah, it's going to be very special for me.
Love that. And we're going to be right there with you on that journey as well. And the last final thing I'll leave you with, and then we'll have our keynotes give just their last few words of whatever they want about this event and what they're looking forward to. But also, this event will be kickstarting live commercial feeds. Thank you, Desiree, for putting that together, finding a radio station starting this Sunday, June 15th. Warrior Women BALM Global will be all over that station for the next 2 months until the day of. And I'm super excited and just proud, because she said, I am going to work this. I'm going to see how we can get this done. Everyone here in New York needs to know about what we're doing and what we're coming with. And she got that done, and we're excited that we said yes, that it worked out. And yeah, just tell us a little bit about that, and then we'll have Krista and Nikki close out.
Oh, it's funny that you ask.
I
got my
I
document
was like,
ready.
what is this? I was like, what is this?
So I'm so excited. Okay, so check this out. This is so cool. So a local radio station, we're going to be having a 15 to 30 second commercial. And it's strategically kind of targeted, and they do all this work to figure out, okay, this is what the event is, who do they need to target, and when do those listeners listen? So it's like this whole thing that they do in the background, and all the stuff that they analyze to figure out our target audience, and to have it connect. So it's really great. 15 to 30 seconds, and it's going to be every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 6 to 10. And then on the days that it's not Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we're going to get also another one on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but it will be at a different time slot from 10 to 7. So that will fill in the gaps from the morning show, which is really cool, because then we hit the other people on the way home from work, right? So they're really smart. So then we also get community calendar. So we're going to be put up on a community calendar, which is basically a thing it's like a billboard that catches everybody's attention to say, boom, local women's conference, here we come, and where it is and when it is and all the details, like a 10-second, like if you're driving by, you know that this is what the details are. And then the week of, from August 1st to the 8th, they're going to give us every single day from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. They're going to put a commercial out to get the people who are waiting to the last second to be able to like get the last seats. So we really invested in quite a really great it's going to be really great to be able to get that out there like that. But then also we're going to do a couple live call-ins. So Nikki and I are going to call into it, and then we're going to be able to go live to the radio station as well a few times through call-ins and things. So that's going to be amazing. And just beef up this local area and say, listen, this is who we are. This is what we're doing. And we need you guys to come on in and fill these seats up and come hear these girls, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely. And if for the audience who's listening now, we actually have 10 more speakers for this event. It's our VIP speakers, and we'll be bringing them on next month and going over just their experience. And some of them are return speakers. I can't wait for you guys to meet Sister Sonia. I love her story and how it went in the first one, but we are going to close out with just Krista and Nikki, and really just, first of all, thank you ladies again for sticking it out. We are an hour and 27 minutes in, but every word that you ladies have shared in your experience has been so impactful, and it just keeps inspiring me to keep doing this. So Krista, what do you want to leave our audience with?
This is not just going to be a bunch of people speaking to you. This is people speaking into you. And I don't know about what all the other speakers are doing, but there's an experiential element to this. So you're not just going to be sitting there bored out of your mind going, oh, we're talking about this again. Because we've all been to a million conferences. This is very different than that. So if you don't know what this is going to be about, you're going to be forced to feel. You're going to be forced to connect. You're going to be forced to open up a little bit. And that might be uncomfortable at first, but it's going to be the best thing that you didn't even know you needed.
Mm-hmm. Love that.
Thank you so much, Krista. Love that. I know it's what I need. I'm ready. I think I'm long overdue for it. I really am.
We all need it.
Yes. Go ahead, Nikki.
Yeah, I just want to leave it with, there may be some people out there that want to go, but they're not sure why. They're not sure what's missing. They're not sure if they'll get what they need while they're there. And I want to just encourage people you can come by yourself. You can come with a friend. You will leave with friends, that's for sure. But if something's just not right in your life and you want help finding that right path, this is the room to be in. So definitely join us. It's going to be a fantastic experience, and stop by and say hi, virtually, in person. How soon can we get together? Let's do this.
Yes, so true. So many friendships have came from this.
Mm-hmm. Lifelong friendships. These are not friendships that it's like just, hey, oh, I seen you last year. It's, how are you doing? How was your weekend type of thing. And when you have women at the end of your event say it's done already, like, can it be like a summer camp where we can be here all weekend? That really tells you, that speaks volumes. And this is why we continue to do it, and, just leveling it up each and every time. And our keynotes, let me tell you, just knowing who they are, what they do, they're going to bring the heat. And what Nikki was saying, if you just don't know why, find the answers here. You're going to get them. I've never been into a room that never gave me an aha moment. Every single room, whether it was the greatest room to be in or the not so greatest, because you're going to get something. So Des, what are your thoughts? And then we will close this out.
Yeah, I agree. There's always lessons in all things. And you never know until you step up and get in the room. Not to mention, you can write all of this off if you're a business owner. So I really highly recommend that you budget these things into your business plan just as much as you're budgeting a trainer for your health, so that you can run a company. Budget also women empowerment so that you can be a women empowered leader that empowers other women as well. I mean, it's really just same kind of concept, right? And really focusing on what is the intake. Like, what are you intaking? Are you intaking naysayers? Are you intaking opinions? Are you intaking, not great things, unhealthy things, people who are going to discourage you and break you down and pull you back down, or are you taking people like this who want to think positive, speak positive, encourage, and empower, inspire, and give hope? And then there's a difference in your life when you're around one versus the other, and it's very clear. Not to mention, you get to see people really like outside of their leadership here, because you get to build relationships through the experiences. So Friday night, we're going to have a networking event, and then we're going to pull away and just pull the keynotes out and specifically do a sunset cruise photo shoot on the lake. It's going to be amazing. Then we'll have the conference all day Saturday, and then on Sunday is a self-care Sunday. So, so you can kind of de-escalate and kind of process what you just learned, right? There's so much that comes from these things. And then you sit by a lake and meditate or walk or have coffee with a friend or go, get a drink at the restaurant or whatever it is that you want to do. But it's self-care Sunday, free also, where you just get together and get to know the people on a personal level. So that you can see if are they actually the same outside of the screen, right? So yeah, it's really great to be able to do that. So thank you so much for having this tonight, and I'm so thankful that we get to do this, Nick.
Yeah, I am too. Thank you so much. I know our ladies are going to do family time right now.
Yes.
So I absolutely enjoyed, spending my Friday night with you ladies and just talking everything Warrior Women BALM Global. And with that, I'll just close it out as I always do. Make it count. Have a great one, everyone. And jump on that link that's scrolling, warriorwomenbalmglobal.com. Check us out. All the details are there. Our phone numbers are there. Text us, DM us. We have all the information for you. Absolutely love you. Thank you. Have a great one.
Happy Friday.
Bye, everyone. Happy Friday.